Okay, may I say something now?
No.
Okay.
Oh, please.
Grant, you're a real hater.
No, you're a hater. All you've done is come on my show and talk bad about the 49ers. You must really get off on on hating on the 49ers. Isn't that true, Dad?
No, you're a hater. In fact, here's what. On my Twitter account yesterday, I got a lot of tweets saying the Cohns, like we're an entity. The Cohns, often with an apostrophe S. The Cohns
That's smart.
are a couple of haters. I got one. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Right.
Blah blah. You guys love to hate on the 49ers.
Yeah.
So you know what? I would like to talk about this. First of all, I think one of the things that you can see, people who have watched our videos, Iggy and I are quite loving, and we certainly love each other. We're warm, emotional, really decent people. So in terms of haters, what you mean is we hate the 49ers. Well, actually, the greatest experiences of my life covering a team have been the 49ers. I've covered a lot of teams, including the Giants, who've been pretty special. There's been nothing like the 49ers. I don't root for them to win, but boy, do I feel honored and privileged to have covered them. Now I'm retired. And what I want to say is, when I'm critical of the Niners, it's not because I hate them. It's because I respect and admire them. It's because I have the same high standards for them that they have for themselves. Criticism is not negative. Criticism is positive. It shows where you've fallen short of the ideal. And what you need is critics.
And the ideal was forged in the 80s when you were there. You understand it better than Jed himself does.
Oh, yeah. And he means Bill Walsh and George Seifert. Those people, they had the highest standards. And if I were critical, or Ira Miller was critical of the Niners if they lost, Bill was more critical. He wasn't less. He didn't come to me and say, "Oh, Lowell, how could you criticize me?" And he would say, "You were right. In fact, we were worse than that." They're harder on themselves than we are. So if the fans think Grant and Lowell are haters, they're going to have to think that Shanahan's a hater. Because believe me, behind closed doors, he's a lot more critical than we are. What are your thoughts on that matter, Iggy?
Well, what's interesting is with coaches, a lot of times they're much touchier after wins than losses. Like after losses, like even Shanahan yesterday, he didn't have anything to say about the defense when I asked the specific question. But the questions he could answer, he was like leaning back in his chair, like almost like undoing his tie and being like, look, man, whatever you want to know, let me take you through the whole thing. Kind of like Tim Lincecum after losses. Coaches can be that. Wasn't Bill that way? Confessional?
Bill was extremely talkative and gracious after losses. After wins, he could be bitchy. Oh, you thought we would lose. You picked us to lose. And you would like, dude, you know what I mean? He could be that way. Jerry Rice was that way as well.
Yeah, I think Shanahan can be a little bit of that way. It's like, oh, you didn't believe in us. Well, what do you think of us now? But yesterday, I thought his whole demeanor was, look, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. I want you guys on my side. Ask me a question. I know you guys are probably uncomfortable and nervous and think I'm going to snap at you. I'm not going to snap. Because you know how some writers can be.
You know what? Who cares if he snaps?
You know how some writers can be.
I'm not afraid. If you want to snap, I'll snap back. I want to come back to this. Iggy, are you a hater?
Absolutely not.
Explain it to us.
I'm passionate about the 49ers. I hold them to a high standard. I want them to do well. And when they don't do well, I call them on it. But if they have a good game, I'm not happy. I need to perform at the stadium. If they have a bad game, that doesn't make my job easier. I need to perform one way or another. But I do feel passionate about the team. And when they lost afterward, I was very worked up at Levi Stadium when I did my Periscope. Not because I was rooting for them, but because, as you said, the organization means something to me. The history does as well.
Iggy, I want to clarify one thing you just said because you spoke quickly. You said, when they win, I'm not happy. I understand, but you're also not unhappy.
Exactly.
You're unemotional. You're
unemotional.
Detached. If they win or lose, you're not happy because
the result doesn't do anything
about is what am I going to write? How am I going to perform?
Exactly. It's not like if one or the other thing happens, like, well, easy day for me, I can just mail it in. No, I have to perform.
Now, Iggy, I want to keep bringing you back to this because I guarantee on this you're going to get comments and people are going to say, in spite of what you said, you're a hater. Your dad's a hater. He's always been a hater. I know you don't answer, but in your mind, you'll answer. Someone says, Cohn, you're a hater. What will you think?
What I'll think is anyone who still thinks we're a hater after listening to this and watching it has like an 8th grade education. I'm sorry. But if you have a brain and you're listening to us, you understand where we're coming from. You understand that we're perceptive and critical, but not biased. And if you really think we are, then your speed of journalism should be just go to 49ers.com and read all the good news that comes out of there, because I don't think you can handle the truth.
They can't handle the truth.
They can't handle the truth. And I think the reason people tend to like us, I mean, I don't think there's many critical beat writers and columnists out there that have the following that we do. I think the people that watch us and read us understand that we're unique. We're not out to get the 49ers, and they can't get the type of analysis and honesty anywhere else that they get from us.
Okay, I got one more point to make. I agree with you, and thank you for saying that. It was so articulate. I listened to or read the transcript of some of the questions yesterday for Shanahan, and you asked a very pointed question. You couldn't keep the quarterback in the pocket. You got to face him again. You got to face Russell Wilson, and then he did what he did. Some of these questions where they're not even really questions. They say, what did you see from your offensive line? I don't understand questions like that, Iggy. What did you see from? I mean, the question should be, you lost the game. Mm-hmm. And they should all be focused on the reasons for losing and how will you move forward. What did you see from? To me, that's a question that's for training camp.
Agree. And also, I think a fair question, I think Jim Harbaugh did it a couple of times, is it's fair to say, oh, that's not my job. You're a professional football analyst. You tell me. What did you see from the offensive line? You do this for a living. It's not my job. What those press conferences are there for is to question the head coach. You lost. Let's question what you did. Not what was your perception of Jimmy, because that takes him off the hook. That puts the players at under the microscope.
You know what it also does? I sometimes think there are two kinds of reporters, not columnist reporters. One is someone who writes news. Another is a stenographer. Mm-hmm. And the stenographer says, what did you see from? And then he writes, or she writes, and fills up a notebook, and you get 3 quotes, and now there's an article. Mm-hmm. I never wanted to be a stenographer. I wanted to have my own point of view. So I don't understand throwaway questions like that. I would want the coach to know that he was being asked serious questions and would have to give serious answers. And my impression is that Shanahan wants to do that.
Right. And when you say, hey, what'd you see from your offensive line? What you're saying is, I didn't see anything. I'm not perceptive, and I may not have even done my homework.
Yeah. So, Iggy, my last question is, what did you see from this video today?
I don't know. I'm going to have to check the film, Dad.
Okay.
All right. I'll call you in a minute.
You're going to call me this time, huh?
I'll call you this time.
I love it. I love this was fun. Thank you.
This was fun, Dad. All right. Call you in a minute. See you next week.